A new documentary airs tonight and it explores the disappearance of Nicola Bulley. Now, you will remember this vividly. She was the mother who went missing in Lancashire last year while walking her dog. The case sparked global speculation online, and for the first time tonight, we'll actually hear from her family. Oh, her poor family. The documentary has exclusive interviews with Nicola's family, as you saw there, and those at the very heart of the case. Its director, Rachel Lob-Levyt, joins me now. Joins me now. The documentary includes unseen home videos of the family. It's just very sad, isn't it? It's just very sad that this happened. Rachel, and why did you think it was so important to tell this story?
Well, I joined Rogan Productions, who were already in the process of making this documentary when I started working with them. And they had felt that there was a strong public interest in exploring this story because it was such a huge news story at the time. And it felt like a kind of sea change moment in perhaps how these cases are covered and followed by the public, particularly in the way that social media was involved.
Yes.
But what hadn't been done was to really understand the story from the people who are on the inside, so obviously Nicola's family, but also the police, journalists and social media.
I mean, they went through hell, the family, absolute hell. Of course they did, because this was happening to them. They didn't know what had happened to Nicola, but they did have this added aspect of the speculation. You know, everybody had an opinion, everybody thought they knew what had happened to her, and that's hellish. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's extraordinary what they've had to endure. You know, not only was Nicola missing and, you know, were they grieving her and obviously trying to figure out what happened to her, but they were also at the centre of this, you know, really kind of unprecedented frenzy. And so I think what the documentary shows is just how, you know, how difficult that was, but also how well they've dealt with it as a family. You can see how much they care for each other, how warm they are, how kind to one another they are, and I think that's really what's got them through.
No, absolutely, because you've got to remember there's two little kids involved as well. Two little children have lost their mother, and that's horrific. But also for their dad, you know, for Nicola's husband too. He was accused of all sorts. I remember it, and I remember thinking, for goodness sake. And that's when I thought, this is the Wild West. You know, that this is not regulated. And these people are real human beings suffering horribly, and that's added to it. What I thought was interesting in the documentary, though, was you talked to some of the people who kind of took it upon themselves to almost be investigators on social media, didn't you?
Yeah, we thought it was really important to examine social media as part of the story because, like it or not, you know, social media was a huge part of what happened, and we thought that it was important to speak to some of the people who played a part in that to try and understand why people, you know, share this kind of content and how this narrative did unfold on social media.
Yeah, and I really like the way that we heard Nicola. If you have a look at this, we actually heard her and we saw her, and I think that was very important. It's quite remarkable. You've done an amazing job on this, and I think, like I said, it was so important to actually get to the truth because we all kind of go, oh yeah, I remember that, but you don't remember the whole story.
Yeah, I think, you know, what a lot of people and, you know, lots of us perhaps forgot at the time was that there was a real person at the centre of all of this, and obviously her name and her face became so recognisable. But I think what the documentary does is show who Nicola really was, both in the words of her family, but also, like you say, in those home videos, those clips, which kind of really show an unfiltered, you know, give you an unfiltered impression of who Nicola was.
Of who she actually was.
Yeah, exactly.
Not all of these things that people were speculating wildly about what sort of life she led, which was... It was actually really poisonous, a lot of it, when you think about it. And I think what you've done is you've put it all into context and you've given us a greater understanding. And I would like to think anybody that watched this who thinks that they might be a self-appointed sleuth would think twice before they piled on. Just, you know, just think twice. And remember, as you said, that there's human beings at the very heart of it. You've done an amazing job. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you
very much indeed.